Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am going to be sharing today a recipe that was given to me probably 15 years ago, and it is extremely popular with my friends and my family, and everybody loves it. I do need to tell you, this is my first ever YouTube video of a recipe. I really don't know what I'm doing, so if the camera is off and the lighting's off and the audio's off, I apologize beforehand for all that, because I'm doing this for the very first time. So anyway, I do have a blog and I have quite a few recipes on my blog, so if you want more information, you can go to my blog at www.happyhothome.com for more information. Would love for you to subscribe there too. So let's see how this is gonna go. That was my dog. Anyway, all right, so that was Bentley. So let's get into this. Today I'm going to be making an Amaretto Bundt cake. It is absolutely delicious. It does have a cup of Amaretto in it, alcohol. You can do it without the Amaretto, that's perfectly okay. If you're doing it for a family and you have kids around, it's perfectly okay to avoid the alcohol. But if you want a delicious decadent cake to take to a party, this is a huge hit for everyone. And I'm actually going to a dinner party tonight, so I am making it for a dinner party tonight. And I do have a tip. You do want to use really good quality Amaretto. I mean, it'll be okay with just regular Amaretto, but to really take your cake to another level, you do want to use good quality Amaretto. So we'll start with that. So for my recipe today, I am going to be using just a regular box of cake mix. I'm not baking it from scratch. It is a super moist yellow cake mix. And even though it is super moist, I am still going to be adding in some pudding. I know you all know adding pudding into a cake mix makes it super moist, but this is going to be super, super moist. So why don't we get started and I will show you how to do this. Right. So there's one container cake mix. I have my KitchenAid mixer here, which is absolutely indispensable. We use it all the time. So if you guys have not invested in one, you may want to think about it. They do so much, and they are just well worth the cost. They are a little bit pricey, but you can get them on sale and you can get good deals for them. So, okay, so I used one box of yellow cake mix. Again, I'm going to be using one container of pudding. And it does need to be instant pudding. Okay. Along with that, we are going to add 4 eggs. 2, 3, and 4. 4 eggs, and we are going to be adding half a cup of vegetable oil. And we are going to be adding half a cup of very cold water. I just took this water out of the fridge and it is cold. So half a cup of very cold water. And now half a cup of Amaretto to the cake batter. Okay, so this hasn't been opened in a while, so it's a little tight. Been cooking with alcohol for quite some time now. My dad was a French chef, so I grew up with learning how to put rum and amaretto and how to flambe things, because the French are very famous for stuff like that. So my dad did a lot of that. So I enjoy doing that too. So again, that was the amaretto, and now I am gonna mix everything. Starting on low so it doesn't just get all over the place. And then slowly speeding up. So while it's mixing, I have preheated the oven to 325 degrees. And I'm gonna bake it for approximately 45 to 50 minutes. Always important to scoop the sides, because the cake batter always sticks to the sides. So I'll always do that once or twice. Mix it again. And it does get rather thick, but we want it thick, and we know it's going to be thick because we have pudding in there as well. So we do want to make sure that everything is mixed very well. Turn it on high a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about the pan for a minute. I'm using a Bundt pan. It's, you know, a regular size Bundt pan. It is a little decorative for the holidays. I usually like to spray it with Baker's Joy to keep the cake from sticking. They ran out. There wasn't any at the grocery store. I tried to find some, and they were out of it. They were out of the pan cooking spray as well, the baking spray. So I just took liberty to put my own grease in it with a little bit of flour, and I am going to use this as my cake pan. I have also used this recipe with a larger, more shallow Bundt cake pan that was like a Christmas wreath. The cake was not as moist when it was a larger pan and it was more spread out. So that's just a little tip. I have tried it both ways, and I do think that it comes out the moistest when it is in a pan about this size, a thicker pan where it's not as spread out, right? So now I'm just gonna pour the batter, which is very thick, by the way. Into the Bundt pan. Oh, and I can see there's a little bit in the bottom that didn't get mixed up, but that's all right. I can just mix it up here with my spoon. Make sure everything gets in. Looks so good, smells so good. All right, that looks pretty good. I think my oven is preheated, so I'm gonna put this in the oven for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna sign off while I do that, and then I will be back to show you how I prepare the frosting. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so we are back. The cake has cooked for 45 minutes and it looks great, with the exception of it did break a little bit when I flipped it over. As I told you, I didn't have any Baker's Joy, so there was a little area that I didn't grease well enough. So a little piece of the cake did stick, so I tried to put it back together. But other than that, 45 minutes and it looks great. I started making the glaze, and what I did for the glaze was I melted 1 stick of salted butter along with 1/4 cup of water. And then I poured in a cup of sugar. And one thing I wanted to mention about the sugar, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with this sugar, it's something new I've discovered. It's called golden sugar from Domino's, and it's less processed, but it works just like white granulated sugar, but it has less processing to it. So it does have a little bit of a golden color to it. So hey, anytime I can get anything that's less processed, I'm all for it. So wanted to pass that tip along. Okay, so then I let it simmer for about 5 minutes on the stove, and then I added a cup of Amaretto to it. So it looks good. It's not super thick, which is okay. You know, I know the Amaretto is going to thin it up quite a bit, so that's okay. So the next thing I do when it is all prepared, I get something with a spout, you know, a measuring cup with a spout, so that I can pour the glaze on the cake. So here I'm going to take my glaze and I'm going to pour it into my container that has a spout. And what I'm going to do to pour it on the cake, you also want to get something with a sharp edge. This is just a regular meat thermometer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes in the cake, pour the glaze inside the holes, which moistens the inside of the cake. And then I'm going to pour the rest of it on the outside, and then the glaze will thicken over time. So let me show you how I do that. So I'm just going to make a series of holes all the way around the Bundt cake. And then pour the glaze into the holes. And it comes out so incredibly moist. And I do the holes in, you know, different parts of the sides of the cake. You know, you just want to kind of randomly poke them, you know, just around the cake. Almost all the way down to the bottom. Oh, a little piece came off there. That's okay. And then pour your glaze into the holes that you've made with the meat thermometer. And it's so good. It is so rich. I made this last year for New Year's and just had so many compliments. People were raving about it. I really enjoyed it. Try to get it in all of the holes. You want the glaze to just moisten the entire area. So just pour the rest of it. I'm going to remove this, put this little piece back up there. And I fill the hole in the middle too, so the glaze comes all the way up to the top. And if I want, just going to make some more holes just to make sure the inside is super moist, since I do have probably close to 2 cups of glaze. It's so good. Make sure to moisten all of the areas of the cake. And the glaze will look a little runny on the sides, but it will continue to thicken, you know, over the next hour or so. So I'm making this cake for tonight, and it will just be perfectly ready for tonight. there you go, a beautiful Amaretto Bundt cake. It's absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you try it. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Like I said, this is my first video and we'll see. Had a few hiccups. Let me know what you think. Thank you for following along. And I am going to make, oh, another thing I want to show you. I also made some candied pecans. I'm gonna have to do another video to show you how to make these. These are so delicious. They're my husband's favorite. He absolutely loves them. Candied pecans. So I'll do another video. They're really easy to make. But anyway, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.